We're going to have group Q&A for about 10 minutes or so. So if Rob can come up and Larry, then we'll have all four of us up here, and Natalie, you can give the microphone to anybody who has a question for any four of us. Right now it's 8:15, so we'll have about 10 minutes of that.
Can I make a quick comment?
Please, yes.
Zach, would you stand up? Anybody who wants to be on Maine First Project's email list, we've got a sign-up sheet. See the big guy back there who's waving his arm. Thanks.
Any questions?
Can I have you come right up here, because the mic just doesn't extend quite that far.
And whoever answers the question comes to the podium so that you can get on the camera.
What is Republican Party locally, nationally doing for misinformation given by Democrat candidates, elected officials that are telling lies about the country, lies about their candidates are running against them? How do we fight back?
So probably by August, September, we will be really working with leadership in the House and Senate to look at the different races, and we plan on we have a great team of folks. By the way, this will be the most money ever spent in the state in the history. We plan to, and I probably don't know all the numbers, we may have about 40 boots on the ground through the Trump victory team, which is unbelievable. They're working right now on just doing door-to-door campaign and voter registration, but we plan on doing a little research on the opponents, especially ones that we really do not want and we have a great chance of getting. And we're going to be working because we want the candidates to stay positive, and if there's any negative or things that we need to put out there, we'll take care of that. We're just going to do it probably in the late summer, fall, because if we do it now, a lot of folks are not thinking politically yet, and they're overwhelmed with COVID and the president and everything else. So we want to make sure we target it about the right time. But we're going to be working very hard. The president wants us to basically win the House and Senate along with Susan Collins, and obviously he wants to get the Electoral College votes. So he's putting the money in Maine.
Hi, I need to speak to you again. What are you doing about Sarah Gideon? I got pictures of the night of the election where she was handing out campaign literature just outside one of the polling booths. Are we doing anything about it? And also, my comment is, you're not alone. Michelle Melkin came up this winter, and we finally got her on the 4th venue, I believe it was, and it was all secretive. I got a call at 6:30 at night. We got there just in time. The house was full. We rocked the boat. So
yes.
Just so you'll know.
Yes, and I watched the whole thing on Facebook. It was my birthday. I was driving back from Skowhegan, and I was thinking it was going to be Thursday, and then of course it became Friday night. So yeah, it shifted quickly. Sarah Gideon, I filed a federal lawsuit on her campaign finance reports. I did it on behalf of the NRSC. Just to give you an idea, I did it personally, not as the Maine GOP. But because the legislature is not in session, they can't add the 5 people they need to be on the ethics board. One person at the very last minute, now I want you to know I canceled my patients in preparations for the hearing, practiced, worked with the attorneys of the NRSC. I'm ready to go at 8 o'clock in the morning, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, one of the 3 that are left decided to recuse herself because she had donated money. Now she knew that probably a month ago. But she turns around. It's a conspiracy. We know that. But the numbers that we're looking at is Collins is doing better. The Dylan Bates story has really, really hurt her. And we have another legislator that we know something about that will be coming out. We've already had a meeting with NRSC, and we're working on that. We want to show the patent that basically it's more important that she has the Democrats there to get the votes and to get what she wants done than it is to be concerned about the public and having people that maybe molest kids and are very inappropriate with women to be removed. So we're going to show the pattern, and we're working with the Collins team. But I get it, totally.
I had a question for Mr. McArdle. I know that ICE has been very demonized. The police are being very demonized right now over the past, say, 4 to 5 years. Are you finding that Border Patrol is becoming more and more demonized, at least in the state of Maine?
We're definitely a political punching bag, so to speak. I mean, that's one of the reasons the union kind of exists, to be able to go out there and kind of get the truth out. The media sometimes portray exactly how they want it to look. But we've been a political punching bag as long as, you know, I've been around, and probably long before that. I'm sure we will be quite after I'm long gone. So, I mean, we do our job regardless.
I just wanted to ask if you think this might be helpful. This is what I'm doing to deal with all the people who hate the people that we like. People I'm friends with, I say, when they say something terrible about the president, like, did you see the stormtroopers that he's sending into Atlanta? I think in this way: say something polite and educate them and make it simple. You may get only one sentence. So I say, oh, my brother lives in Atlanta, and I was so glad Mr. Trump sent them in. You know, there's terrible riots. It's out of control, and the mayor isn't taking care of things. And then I stop. That's as best I can. You guys are the smart ones. We need ways to get back. And one thing I hear over and over from the media is that we don't push back. So I push back in that way. And I went to a reunion, and this is years ago, and someone said, oh, Paul LePage in Maine, I hear he's awful. And I announced to my class alumni, I like him very much. That stopped the conversation, but it also took another side. I'd just like to know, do you think this is a way to do it, or I don't know what to do?
Yeah. Who were you addressing the question to?
Any of you. You're the expert.
All I can tell you, at least from my perspective, is in 16, when I became chair, I had very few people that would approach me and make any comments. Boy, it has changed. I have patients every day that come up to me. I have people that touch my shoulder in the street and go, isn't it awful what they're doing to the president? Or, thank God Paul LePage is running, we can't afford this. Or, my business, let's hope I can make it. I think there is a silent majority. I truly believe it. And I think these people are starting to slowly speak up. They're not afraid. And I know this is happening because my son was registered as an independent, and the other day told me he re-registered as a Republican, so he's had enough. That means something, I think.
So standing up. Stand up is what you're saying.
I-
Stand up and your number of questions will gather.
Absolutely. Not only should we stand up, we should say, don't you think enough is enough? And one of the security folks that was with the ladies for Trump the other day, he was a very tall black man, a very large man. And there were 2 kids. I think they're kids because of my age, I suppose. And they had big signs that said Black Lives Matter. And he goes, excuse me, this is mine. And he went up to those kids and he said, back off. And by the way, which lives matter? Because you pick and choose which black lives you want to matter.
I would recommend just about any book by David Horowitz, but one in particular is actually called Fight Fire with Fire. we have the examples, successful examples, Paul LePage and Donald Trump.
Amen.
When you get punched, you punch back twice as hard.
And I'd like to mention that, as I said before, the left kind of owns the narrative now. And they accuse conservatives of being hateful and bigoted when someone saw the map that was on our flyer and said it was fear-mongering. That's not true. I have many relatives that are not Republicans. I don't know, do any of you have relatives who are not Republicans? Well, relatives are the hardest people in the world to deal with because you love them. But, you know, we just have to tell the truth. And David Horowitz is a wonderful resource. But, you know, we just can't be afraid any longer. Any other questions?
I would just like to add to that, flying American flags. Just fly a lot of American flags. Put up a bunch of Trump signs. You know, put it right in their face, right? Because you know they don't really like America, and they're not really flying American flags.
Right.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Amen.
Or wear the MAGA hat everywhere you go. In fact, when I'm in Hannaford, I don't need a mask. Just the MAGA hat is enough to keep most people at a distance.
Good point.
Well, I just wanted to say, sometimes having something to say in response really does help. When I was first starting teaching, which was 1961, I taught with a black teacher. He became my best friend, and I saved his job, and I lost my job in the process of helping him. And he said this to me, I really owe you a huge debt of gratitude, and I owe a huge debt of gratitude to all white people. And I said, why? And he said, because we came here as slaves. We were sold as slaves. We were slaves in Africa. There is still slavery in Africa.
Yeah.
And the African slaves, the whites did not go into the jungle and get the slaves out. They were sold by the chiefs in the jungle. So they were already slaves, and he had done research, and he said they were so badly treated that they were happy to be sold into slavery to go to the white America. I don't think you read that in any history books, but that's the truth. And so he said, you actually freed us. You were the only people who actually freed us. So after we were slaves, you freed us. It wasn't blacks who wrote the Constitution. It was not blacks who decided every man could be equal. He said it was whites. So he said, I'm tired of people dumping on the whites. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to ask, Natalie, could you give soon-to-be Congressman Jay Allen the mic? And, Dr. Allen, could you give us 1 minute of comment? And also, before that, I want to thank all these wonderful speakers. I want to say thanks to our co-sponsors and the Gray Republican Committee members who worked so hard on this project, the Twin City Times, who is our media partner. Lori Steele is the publisher of that paper. WLOB, the Ray Richardson Show. I had an interview Monday on that show. I want to thank Ray. We want to thank our 44 co-sponsors, including Demi Kouzounas and the Maine GOP. And we had county committees, town committees, nonprofit groups, state representatives, the Fisherman's Net, the fish business in Gray. If you've not gone there to buy fish, now you have to go. And I want to thank Dave Langway, who's the manager of the Windham Veterans Center, for letting us have this event here. And thank all of you. So, Dr. Allen, if you could close us out with a minute, and then we'll be done. So, thank you.
So for those who don't know me, my name is Jay Allen. I'm a family doctor practicing in Waldoboro. And I'm also a combat veteran. I served 23 years in the Army. I deployed to Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. I've had the opportunity to travel all over this world. And I want to tell you that America is a special place. There's no other place like it in the world. And if we open up our borders and just let anyone come in, we will lose what we have. We are ambassadors to the world. We can help the world, but we will be overwhelmed if we just open up our borders. And that's why it's important to have secure borders. That's why it's important to protect the goal, the ideal that is America, because this is something special that needs to be preserved. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give our speakers a big hand. God bless them. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful evening. We are adjourned.